Waters.
Exactly.
Moore.
Here.
O'Kane.
Here.
Shaner. Here. Scott.
Here. Can we stand for a moment of silent prayer followed by the Pledge of Allegiance, please? We will go, there are no proclamations, so we'll go to interviews for the Effective Fiscal and Public Policy Committee. Andrew Loswell, come on up and tell us a little bit about yourself and why you want to serve.
Hello. My name is Andrew Loswell. Do you want my address?
Yes, please.
3431 West 32nd Street, Sioux City. I was interested in joining this committee. I've lived in Sioux City the majority of my life, just looking to get a little bit more involved in my community. This particular committee has the ability to kind of offer advisory services for a number of projects, from parking to parks and recreation, the riverfront. So it just kind of gives me an opportunity to affect some change in multiple areas. So that was kind of why I was interested in joining this committee.
Good.
Great.
Sounds good.
Thanks for applying.
Are you familiar with our current operating budget?
I've been looking into it a little bit. I'm not fully, I don't know all the numbers, but I'm really interested to take a look at all of it and get involved.
Really interested, bless you, bless you. Do you feel like there's anywhere in the city where you overspending, or anywhere that you feel that we could trim the budget, in your opinion?
I guess I don't know about overspending. I know with some of the parks projects, I know like the riverfront, that's something that probably has been looked into, whether it's to necessarily spend all of that on the riverfront or divert that to other projects that might be more important within the city.
But it's probably tough to have an answer if you haven't gotten into all of it, I
Right,
understand.
right.
No worries, man.
Well, if you ever need to, you can also use it for personal defense. It weighs about 13 pounds.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Look forward to it.
Thanks
get
for
it.
applying, man.
I just
No,
was going to say that we get a variety. I sit on that group, and we get a variety of requests. And part of our job are projects that the council would give us. We've had various ones in the last year. What's more financially effective is, for example, having a pour-back crew or hiring more people on city staff to take away from what a contracted crew would do, things like that. So not always, hardcore, get the budget book out. It's more of a project-based assignment.
Sounds good.
It's good to see you again, Andrew.
You too.
Thank you.
Thanks,
Appreciate
man.
it.
Thank you very much.
Bye. Human Rights Commission, Tito Parker.
Hello.
How are you, Tito?
Good. How you guys doing?
Good.
Go ahead and tell us a little bit about yourself, even though pretty much everybody.
I like to even know. Tito Parker, Sioux City, been here since '95. Been on committees around here, served on boards, work at West Nile Tech. Got a family here, and that's just a little bit about me. And I was asked by a couple folks to be on the Human Rights Commission to apply for it, so I figured I'd apply for it, and it fits into my schedule with the time frame. So do what I can with what I can do. So that's why I applied.
Questions?
Do you think that we do enough to educate the public about human rights and knowing your rights?
I think we do. I think the education piece is great, but I think notifying folks about the education piece could be better, and everything can always be improved. And sometimes folks get a lot more education than what they need and can absolve, so then they just end up seeing it so much that they just ignore it. But I think the city does a good job. It can always be a lot better, and I think always changing things up and adding new features and new faces is important, and younger faces, because they're the ones that's going to spearhead where we go. So I think that's important. It doesn't just have to be, the Human Rights Commission or those folks, but who are they connected with, the schools, and not just the K through 12. It can be the colleges as well. So I think that plays a part in it, because this is our city, not just the commission city. So I think everything that everybody can do will help out.
Okay. Thanks, Tito.
Great. Thanks, Tito.
So Where do I pick up my check? No, I'm just kidding.
Inclusive Sioux City Advisory Committee, Lashana Moyle. Tell us a little bit about yourself and why you want to serve.
Lashana Moyle, lifelong resident of Sioux City. The reason that I would like to serve, so my background is in social work, so inclusion is a way of life for me. My newest role, I also work at Western Iowa Tech. I am the new Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion Coordinator, so I bring an awareness to these issues with students, staff, and again, as a social worker, this has been my training as long as I can remember.
Questions?
Right.
I have a few for you. You ready?
Yeah, go for it.
So you're coming from the Human Rights Commission, which is great. You've done a lot of
Correct.
great things there, and I've seen you out in the public. The Inclusive Sioux City Advisory Committee, one of the things that they do is they advise council. And one thing that they recently came up with at the last meeting was a series of questions to ask applicants.
Okay.
You ready?
Sure.
Here we go. All right. I'm going to read them off. I apologize. I write terribly, so I might not be able to get them all.
Okay.
So what is your experience with serving the community?
Experience with serving the community, well, I will go back to when I brought in my Girl Scouts to meet Mayor Bob Scott, actually several years ago. I started serving the Girl Scout community when my daughter was just a daisy, so in kindergarten. I became a troop leader, and from there I became employed within the Girl Scout organization, which got me excited to go back to school. I became an AmeriCorps member, served urban youth that way, earned my tuition stipend, started at Western Iowa Tech, went into social work, and from there transferred to Briar Cliff and served the community in many facets that way. All kinds of drives, mentored individuals, went into my graduate program at USD, and from there have continued to be in education and serve the community in many facets. I volunteer for as many things as I possibly can, and I hope to continue to do so.
You are busy. Oh, boy. All right, here we go. What do you believe will be your role as a member of the committee? And I'm asking you this, although I do realize that you kind of answered this in your application, but what do you feel like your role in the committee will be?
I would really I hope that I can continue to help coordinate, collaborate, et cetera, for events and awareness and bringing activities to the community. In the area of inclusivity, I think that it would be important, and it's something that I really enjoy doing, so if I could do it at this level, that would be great.
And this is the last one, I promise, but it's a two-part
Okay,
question.
2 parts.
So what growth have you seen regarding inclusion and equity in Sioux City, and where do you think we still need improvement?
So I have seen the committee has really, there's been dialogue, there's been a lot of focus on dialogue and speaking out in terms of community members' experiences, and I think that's fantastic. I think that's great in terms of bringing in awareness, creating a safe space, having these discussions that are difficult, which I think we need to continue to do. But again, I think we need to get bigger in terms of activities and events and bringing people together that way so that there is that community feel for all individuals within this area.
Thank you. I'm sorry you had to be in the hot seat, but I couldn't
Yeah.
have thought of anybody more
what
better
I do.
equipped for it.
Thank you.
Yeah, thanks for your 5-page resume as well. It speaks highly of you.
Thank you.
You've been very active. Thank you.
Thanks. Have a good week.
Thanks, Lashana.
D is Transit System Advisory Board, Justin Johnston.
How are you guys doing today?
Hey, Justin, good.
Why do you want to
Justin
serve?
Johnston, longtime person living here in Sioux City. You guys know me very well from several times coming in and talking. So I'm an advocate for people with disability, and the transit system is a great asset for several people with disability and everyone here in Sioux City. But pointing out the part about people with disability, I'm a very large advocate to stand up for that, and I thought it would be very good after being on the Civil Rights Commission for a few years, as well as being on the advisory board for brain injury for the state of Iowa for several years, kind of representing Sioux City in several ways. So I thought after talking with a few people, it would be very good for me to come aboard and be a part of the transit system that is very accessible for people with disability.
But I think so too. I think that you are witness to the good, bad, and the ugly, because nothing is perfect. And I think that you'll be able to build on the good with your input. So thank you so much. That's why Alex and I thought of you.
Well, hopefully you
Yeah.
accept me.
No doubt. Well, I think it's just important the perspective of having a disability and riding public transit. I mean, I think you and I have talked about it before, and I know I've talked with staff that I used our public transit system for a long time, whether we're talking CERTs or the regular bus system. And I had no idea that I would ever serve on the council at that point in time, but I really enjoyed that, but it also informed a lot of my decisions. And so I think that's where your perspective on the advisory board could be really helpful too, of what you're seeing and whether it's in the disability community or otherwise, just try to offer some of that insight. So appreciate the application.
Appreciate you acknowledging that I'd be good for it.
Application's timely. If you've heard some of our meetings of
Yeah.
recent with the Transit System Advisory Board, as well as, not only are you timely, but you have an impressive background, and you're also a good example of when someone reaches out to you to make an application, you give it serious consideration, because I think that's what makes all of these boards and commissions work anyway. So thank you.
You bet.
I have a couple quick questions. So you picked the day to come too, because so on the agenda today is a discussion for a request for an additional $340,000 to add additional busing routes as well as additional staffing for buses, for transportation. Do you feel like that's a wise investment for our city?
I was actually looking at that from the newspaper, and it's something that I would definitely acknowledge. You're kind of not getting enough access for employment because they're kind of cut off with their transportation service after a certain time frame. I know that Sioux City may never have a 24-hour bus system. I've heard stories that it used to back in the day, but if we ever had a 24-hour bus transit system, I know that several people with disability will actually try to get more chance of employment. And that was the first thing I thought of when I first saw that report. Putting more into it, it would definitely be a great help for a lot of people with disability to
Be able to expand those services, yeah.
and have employment.
On that subject, other than the hours of operation, how do you think we can make public transportation more equitable across the board?
As in,
Just so that more people have even access to it. Do you think hours is the right place to start?
it would be very beneficial. I know that I'm trying to think of the right way how to say it would definitely, the hours of it are a needy thing quite a bit. Part of the reason why I even relocated many years ago downtown, because when I used to work at ABC and Clear Channel Radio at the same time, it was walking distance. But then when things started changing, I had to go with the flow. And a lot of the times the hours that I had were the overnight, the weekender, and it was walking distance for me. Whereas right now, if I tried to get a job somewhere else, it would be partially out of town, and that's not walking distance. So again, the hours are a very large thing that are needed, in my opinion, but that is.
Thank you, I appreciate that, and thank you very much for applying. I think you'll be a good.
Thank you. Go find a frame
Thanks,
now.
Jeff.
We need another one.
Yeah.
Thank you. Consent agendas, items 3 through 11D, consider them to pass unanimously. If you want to speak on an item, please come up as I read it. State your name and address for the record. If you want to speak on an item not under the agenda, please come up under citizen concerns. I'll move the consent agenda.
Second.
3 is the reading of the city council minutes of September 15th, 19th, and 21st, 2022. Was I here for all those? Was everybody here? I think I was. Yeah, I was. 4 is a motion acknowledging September 13th, 2022 Board of Adjustment actions. 5 is a resolution temporarily closing various streets in the downtown area on October 22nd, for the Hardline Coffee Big Deck Energy event. 6 is a resolution adopting plans and specs for the Dale Street Park Community Garden Parking Lot Improvement Project. 7 is a resolution authorizing payment to RP Constructors for the Myrtle Street Reconstruction Project. 8 are actions relating to agreements. A is a resolution approving a contract to Subservco for the West 3rd Street and West Street Intersection Improvement Project. I need to abstain, conflict of interest.
I have a question on that one. The local bid was 1.24% over. I'm just curious. I thought local preference was 2%.
Gordon Ferris, city engineer. I don't think that even came into play on this one.
Local preference, though, we determine on construction projects are the area, contractors within the area.
Within the area, so
Plus, I don't think you
Just for purchases.
Right.
Not for public
Not-
bidding.
you
not for public bids, okay.
can't do it on a construction project.
Because like the public bid, you almost always have to take the low price.
Right.
And then, yeah, for purchasing, we have some flexibility.
What was the bid on that this last spring when you bid it? How much?
It was just a couple months ago, and there was no bid. Nobody bid on it.
How long did you extend the completion date?
We moved into next year.
That-
So I don't know what.
Moved the
last time
project,
it
you
was
mean?
this fall. It was supposed to be completed. So we moved it to next year. I don't know the exact date.
But you got 3 bids, is my point. So that these completion dates mean so much, and we don't always understand that here.
But did the completion time change or just the year, the season it was in? Like the timeline?
No, you
did
gave them more
change.
time.
Well, there's a broken sanitary manhole there right now. We wanted to get it fixed before winter,
Yeah.
but because no one bid on it and because it's CDBG, that's what we were told, that some people didn't want to bid on it. And there was a tight time frame.
Gotcha.
So we removed the manhole and just fixed that separately. And then we're going to fix the rest of the project next year.
Gotcha.
B is resolution approving consulting services agreement with HGM Associates for the South Mulberry Street Improvements Project. C is a resolution awarding a service provider agreement to AccuJet for the 34th and Jackson Street Storm Sewer Point Repair Project.
That was more, there was 2 more declined bids on that one. Did they give any reason?
No, they did not give us a reason why they declined to bid on it.
Okay. Sorry to bring you back up here for that. I was
That's okay. Go from here, so.
Okay. D is a resolution approving a 2080 agreement for the Iowa Department of Public Defense for the Runway 1331 Rehabilitation and Lighting Upgrade Project at the airport. E is,
Mayor, I have a question for Mike Collette.
okay,
I didn't send this to you ahead of time. I just ran out of time, Mike. But my question is, this total project cost is just about 8.8 million?
Yes.
What's the city's portion of that?
Actually, this is 100% funded by FAA in this case, just due to how the funding changed with COVID and the infrastructure bill. The 225 for today is completely reimbursed by DOD 185th.
Oh, it is.
It is. This 225 add-on, we're the conduit because it's on our property.
These are the costs we're advancing, you mean?
Yes.
And that will be
That'll be reimbursed by
Reimbursed.
185th.
excellent.
Okay.
Thank you.
E is IDOT and BNSF. The railroad's paying any of this money?
Yes, they are.
Really? That's a first. How much? I'm just excited as heck to hear that.
Well, they're paying the 90%, and then it'll all depend on what it'll come out to.
Is this for rail crossings?
Crossings and sidewalks.
Not for the gates, not for,
On this exact one, I'm not sure. I'll have to look into that.
I thought it had said gates.
Automatic gate units, flashing lights and sidewalk.
normally they.
There are two of
Normally
them.
they,
Correct, they haven't been paying these.
Yeah.
yeah, they haven't been paying their portion. How'd you get them to pay?
Charm.
I was gonna say, yeah,
Jill,
Gordon,
they
you're
haven't
just
been
sweet
paying on
talking
this,
them.
Have they,
Sweet
Jill?
talked him.
The railroads haven't been paying their portion of these, have they? Last couple, they walked after they said they'd pay. I know you're out of
Neighborhood
that now,
Services
but
manager, they have not been contributing to the 10%. Usually we split it 5 and 5, and they haven't for quite some time.
they are on this one. You don't
I
know
thought
if
they
you're
were. I
out of
don't,
that,
no.
right?
Yeah.
I'll have to look into that.
Can't see where they're paying, it doesn't.
I had questions about,
I couldn't see it.
there wasn't any information about how far out from the tracks they're gonna go. The one on 19th in particular, the grading for that, the slope, are they gonna address that at all? It's been in terrible shape for a very long time.
The slope as in the running slope with the
Yep.
street, there's not much they can do with that one.
No, you.
It's gotta follow the
change
street.
Tracks, that's a problem. You'd have to go way back probably to change I know what you're saying, but.
I was gonna
On
say,
the approach, it's too
my
short, right?
my
It's
van
really fun
bottomed
for
out.
kids, but
But it's, the approach is too short to change the grade, is that? Okay. So we don't really know if the railroad's paying part of this, or
Well,
we do know?
not 100%.
Doesn't say in that, I looked everywhere in that memo, and it just says it's a joint project, but it doesn't say who's paying for it, so I have no idea. I should have asked ahead of time, that's my fault. I did ask on one
Here he
deal.
comes again.
I'm sorry, it is DOT is paying for 10%, or a portion of it. We're paying for the other portion.
Yeah, the railroads
Not the
aren't
railroad.
paying a thing.
So back to what it was. More of the same.
Yeah.
You're having the same luck as Jill.
That's not going to change for the person, no.
Items 81 and 2 are resolutions approving amendments to the Crossing Safety Improvement Program by DOT and BNS Railroad for the railroad signal safety projects at West 19th Street and Military Road. I don't know why you guys added that after the fact, but okay. 9 are actions relating to property. A is a resolution proposing to grant a temporary construction easement and a permanent utility easement at 100 Riverside Boulevard. The petitioner is the city of North Sioux City, South Dakota. I sent Mr. Pingle and you a note.
Tom got called down to the plant, but I just talked to him. Yes, odor control is included, and it will be included in our new sister city agreements.
So they're going to put odor control before they dump it into our
Yes,
sewer?
I believe they're currently putting odor control in already.
Okay, all right, good.
will this,
Go ahead. No, go ahead. Oh, no, after you.
I had a question about how this is going to affect pool operation. Will the work be finished before the pool opens, and will this restrict parks' access to the pool for, like, we had a repair this year, so if it's deemed that we need a repair next year?
I don't know exactly when the construction is going to take place, but it is going to be on the south end of the parking lot, so it shouldn't. It's only going to be affecting those couple spots, and it's in the grass area. They are taking out a couple of trees, but in return, we're getting, 2 to 3 times that much back.
I had the same question, because it was on the south end of the parking lot, which isn't that near the pool?
That was my thought, too,
It's right by
that it was just
pooling.
right there.
I've got my
Where
direct,
that would be restricting access,
I-
but no, he's talking about the other side of it.
Yeah.
And so you go in, and then there's the little roundabout on the other side in the parking.
north of that.
I think it's on the north side of that. Yeah, it's on,
Of the second parking lot.
yes, there you go.
Thank you, Gordon.
B is a resolution proposing to sell property at 315 Collins Street. The petitioner is Alexandra Kurula. C is a resolution proposing to sell property at 1810 Isabella Street. The petitioner is Lonnie Dale and Kathy Jensen. D is a resolution proposing to sell property at 1814 Isabella Street. The petitioner is Jose Hernandez. 10 are applications for beer and liquor license. 11 are boards and commission and committee minutes. See the list, come forward if you have any questions. Anyone to be heard on any of those items? Are we voting electronically? Thank you. Passes 5-0. I thought your last meeting was the last one. Back?
I think I said on the record that it was either this meeting or the last, it was either that meeting or the next one, and this is the last one. So
right.
we're appointing new chair tomorrow. So, yeah, this is the official last one.
All right.
So this will be easy for you, I promise.
Recommendations of planning and zoning. 12 is a hearing and ordinance rezoning 5405 Hamilton Boulevard. Petitioner once was LLC. P&Z recommends approval. I'll move that.
Second.
Public hearing's now open.
Yeah, this is a simple rezoning request to allow for an additional unit to be placed on the site. There were questions around how many additional sites, how many additional properties could be built on the site, but due to an existing solar panel array and a floodplain adjacent to it, the practicality of building a lot more units on this site is not very good. So we approved it, and we had minimal discussion, but we did have some discussion.
Anyone to be heard? Seeing none, the hearing is closed. Passes 5-0. Thank you. Anybody opposed to waiving the statutory rule? I'll move that.
Moore,
Aye.
O'Kane,
Aye.
Shaner,
Aye.
Scott,
Aye.
Waters.
Aye.
I'll move second and third. Passes 5-0. 13 is a hearing and resolution accepting the proposal of 1720 Morningside Avenue LLC for property and authorizing a development agreement. I'll move that.
Second.
Public hearing is now open. Anyone to be heard? Seeing none, the hearing is closed. Passes 5-0. 14 is a hearing and resolution approving plans and specs for the Convention Center Meeting Room Updates Project. I'll move that.
Second.
Public hearing is now open. Anyone to be heard? Seeing none, the hearing is closed. Oh, come on up. Sorry. Name and address, please.
Randy Chapman, 3917 Sylvian Avenue. I do a lot of work at the convention center, and I haven't seen the plans for this. I just wanted to make sure that it doesn't turn into a Gallery C situation where they forgot to put sound, either forgot or it was taken out for cost reasons and then had to be retrofitted. It caused a lot of issues. I'd just like to make sure that that is in the plan for this one.
Jessica's not here.
I was going to say, I wonder if, Bob, if we can take your information and have Jessica and them at least reach out to you or get that info, that'd probably be helpful.
Yeah, that'd be great.
Give your phone number
Okay.
to Bob and we'll make sure you look at it.
Thanks.
Anyone else? Okay. Thank you. Passes 5-0. 15 is a hearing resolution approving plans and specs for the Hamilton Boulevard paving improvement project. I'll move that.
Second.
Public hearing's now open. Anyone to be heard?
This is going to be nice. This is needed. I don't know how many travel Hamilton on a daily basis, but there are always people darting across on 3rd. and having those big barrels, I feel like has created a big hindrance for people crossing the road. So I'm pretty excited about this one myself.
Passes 5-0. 16 is a hearing and resolution adopting amendments number 1 to the amended and restated Donner Park Urban Renewal Plan property at 4101 South Lewis Boulevard. I'll move that.
Second.
Public hearing is now open. Anyone to be heard? Seeing none, the hearing is closed. Passes 5-0. 17 is a resolution approving development and minimum assessment agreement with D. Thompson Properties for property at 4101 South Lewis Boulevard. I'll move that.
Second.
Passes 5-0. 18 is an ordinance amending the municipal code to increase the rate charges for ramp parking and parking meters and to increase the overtime parking fees. First consideration approved September 19, 2022. Before you go ahead.
Yes, in the actual agenda heading, it did not match the actual presented ordinance. It left out the portion which indicates that the amended chapter, the proposed amendment, is in the Sioux City Municipal Code. So we would just ask for an amendment to make those match so the agenda is correct with the proposed ordinance.
The first one, we need to move it. Did I?
No.
Second? Okay, and we'll get that amendment because he's got one too. Go ahead.
Yeah, we need to amend the language in, and I apologize that the lateness of this is, we discovered it on Friday that we didn't adjust the reserved parking rates to match. So under section 1094, 045, paragraph 3, it looks like now, monthly rate will go to $85 per month for spots in the Heritage Parking Ramp on Jackson and the Martin Luther King Jr. Transportation Center, and a monthly rate of $77 per month for reserved parking spots in Discovery and Rivers Landing. Those match the monthly raises that we had in those two ramps.
I'll move that with the changes or with the wordage that we need from what Nicole recommended. I'll move the amendment. Is there a second to that?
Second.
On the amendment first.
O'Kane.
Abstain.
Shaner.
Aye.
Scott.
Aye.
Waters.
Aye.
Moore.
Aye.
Is there, now we'll vote on the second reading.
Shaner.
Aye.
Scott.
Aye.
Waters.
Aye.
Moore. O'Kane.
Abstain.
Anybody opposed to waiving the statutory rule?
I would be opposed. I was requested to have it go for a third. Someone else wanted to be here to provide input or emails.
Okay, well, that's fine. I don't care. Okay, 19 is a resolution approving a request for an additional $340,000 allocation to the transit budget for additional services to be implemented. I'm not sure I'm voting for that, so somebody else will have to.
I'll move it.
Okay, Mike Collette, Assistant City Manager. So as a follow-up to the joint meeting last month, through the mobility study that SRF conducted, one of the prime areas to look at was the southernmost area of the city and the access down there, the timing of that. And the result was, what they came up with was splitting the airport route to provide more access down there and allow us to entertain more of the business travelers down in that area. Right now, we deadhead from downtown on the interstate and just get down there and back. And it's tight. What happens is we hold up all the routes when that happens as well, because all the routes transfer down to MLK. So it becomes burdensome on the whole system when that happens. This would allow us to actually expand our territory a little bit into access for people up and down into Morningside, as well as into Bridgeport, South Bridge, and that area. As we grow that area, it gives us a little flexibility then to add those routes as well as business develops down there. So that's the majority of this ask, is that piece. The other piece of this would be for a test period of time for 3 months to increase our total system hours from 6 p.m. to 7 p.m. Probably what we would come back with in the end is this is just to garner demand. Right now, we know that's a big request. We just don't know if that's 10 loud people or if it's 1,000 people.
Yeah, and you don't know what you don't know. Because, I mean, to JJ or Justin's point, I think that's a big concern is I've heard that time and time again. I mean, I remember when I was writing and I was hearing it that we need extended hour service. We need to extend that. And I know that it's, for a long time, it's been pretty cost prohibitive to be able to do that. I mean, you're talking $1 million for an hour, you know what I mean, to fully implement it throughout the whole system. And so I think hopefully this will give us an idea of, is there really that demand? Does that make an impact? And is it something we need to look at addressing?
And then I think we would come back with, I think once we garner that input, is whether it would be truly all the buses out for additional hour or we'd initiate an on-demand type service.
Yeah.
This is just to get the demand, and then we can make decisions from there based on cost.
That's $65,000 for the 3-month period, test period.
Yep.
And the money's coming from where?
From the CARES Act and the ARPA funds, so we have $6.8 million from those two funds that we haven't really spent anything. We spent a little bit during COVID, but maybe $50,000. So we have to use this, and one of the areas they wanted to concentrate on with these funds is we lost a lot of passengers and a lot of those inputs during COVID, and to get passengers back to improve the system, this seemed like a very good use of that money.
Right, it's a good time to do it, to take a look at what we're doing.
In addition to that, there's two elements. So there's also the infrastructure funding is an additional $400,000 a year for the next 4 years. So we have that as a kind of a shot in the arm as well.
Is that part of our 40 million?
No.
Transit and the airport funds are separate from that ARPA. Yeah.
How much was that again, Mike?
6.8 million between the two. I think it was 4 and 2, roughly that kind of split.
And then, Mike, you'll use some of those funds to take a look at the on-demand profile later. Once we gather this information, how many riders we might have beyond 7.
Exactly. Because I think we can do that less expensive and potentially go for more than an hour then. That's just kind of
Yes, yeah, maybe it can go until 9 o'clock.
Maybe.
Right, we just need to get this information out for this extra hour to, the large employers and people who, would benefit from.
And we have our own process, since we get federal funds, we have to go through a Title VI process. So if council approves this tonight, we'll do public notice Saturday for a 3-week comment period, and we'll have our own hearing in 2 weeks. And we'll set that hearing at Transit for people to come on site and provide comments as well.
Mike, just on site, I'm sorry.
No, go ahead.
Just on site?
At Transit, yep. Well, we just list that as the meeting place for the hearing.
Right, but will they have the, not everybody can get there. Will they have the ability to do it by electronic media?
We can sure add that.
Stream it.
Well, I think that's important because not everybody's going to want to spend money to come down to the transit.
Sure.
To make comment. I'd hope that we got a way that they can
Yeah, if we
email.
can stream it, that would be great.
At least offer a public comment.
And they can comment for the 3 weeks before that as well. But if they want to be there in
Yeah,
person.
but I want to make sure they can do it by email and not have to write letters and do it that way, I hope. I know that government still moves with paper, but you're about the last institution that does that. You understand, right? Okay.
Mike, have we coordinated with the large employers with their shift times? And, I mean, are we doing something to coordinate the transit system?
This will be a step in that.
Buses with coordinated times, because the shifts are all set.
They are.
By large employers. Well, probably by most employers, the shifts are set, so we would know the timing of when they start and when they stop. Wouldn't those be the peak Wouldn't those be the peak hours necessarily because of the number of employees that are going in for the start of their shift?
Maybe. I don't know that.
Will you be going by Seaboard Triumph? Now, will you be going by Seaboard Triumph?
We do right now today.
Right, but that'll help, because that's the problem. They want more service there, but then you gotta hurry to get back, and it doesn't always work, Dan.
Yeah, well, I understand that, but if we knew their times,
And it
I mean, it
depends on.
seems like we should have a chart of most times.
Right, that's where that
They have a
on-demand would work
start.
well,
They-
because if we
they
knew
go-
we had 20
then the
people getting,
process comes
that
in.
need a ride to Seaboard
Oh,
at 6
Not
o'clock or at 7
everybody-
o'clock
you go
or
down
whenever it
there,
is.
Agreed.
so it could be over a 2-hour period,
2 or 3 hour
or 3-hour period of start.
like Seaboard or Tyson. Yeah, that's,
It kind of depends on what their job duty is when they start.
Right,
right.
But spread across 3 shifts.
which end of the animal you start
At
at.
least covering 13 hours, we've got a good net out there to start from.
But it's a start, it's a start.
It is a start.
It is a
And so today's really not asking for more money. It's just authorization to
Right.
start that process.
Okay.
I think transportation is the backbone of a healthy community. I think it's a good idea, and like JJ put it, I think it's a step in the right direction for equity across the board.
Yeah, it'll be a huge improvement in the south portion for this piece of it, for sure.
Great, thanks, Mike.
Thank you.
Ready to vote? Oh, we're voting now, huh? Aye, oh.
Passes 5-0. Citizen concerns. Any citizen would like to be heard?
Come on up.
The only questions that I had with that,
This guy's gonna really irritate me.
if I could ask, I know that several of you do not live in the downtown area, but the only thing after reading that is a 3-month period. Does anybody else seem to think that might be too long of a period? I mean, I'm sure 3 months is a long period of time, but probably within a 30-day, you could probably find out more detail, especially with the points given with it. Find out how much within a 30-day period, how many people have, even with disability or any one period, would come into the area.
Sure. Usually it was recommended to us by the consultant a 6-month period, and we shortened that in half just for that reason. We thought within 3 months, we should know.
Okay. And the only other question that I had, if the increase does occur, will there be an increase of security with the bus system? Living downtown, I know that a lot of people who are homeless also like to use the transit system. Once it shuts down, it's their sleeping area, it's their area of the pushing people away, especially several people in the disability area trying to get downtown. They come out of the transit system. I did not know if maybe increasing security.
It hasn't been considered as part of these numbers go, you know, unless we see issues with it. I guess we'll find out in that 3-month period.
And that was the only other question that I had with that detail. Thank you.
Yeah.
Any other citizen concerns? Matthew?
Just 2. So tomorrow, the Human Rights Commission is having a Know Your Rights workshop. It's going to be a virtual event. I think you can sign up on Facebook. The other thing I wanted to mention is this Thursday I'll be at Citizens Academy again, and I would just encourage members of the public that have not signed up for Citizens Academy to sign up for it, because if for no other reason that you get to drive a police vehicle and use a training simulator to shoot zombies. So it's a lot of fun, but you also get to learn a little bit more about how the police department operates. And I think it's just a great impact that it can have on our community if we have a better idea about the people that are out there to serve and protect.
They ask you to do that? They never asked me.
Oh, really? They do invite us. They invited me.
They
Well, I
invited
said-
me.
Yeah, I said they probably invited you. Go ahead.
did.
Yours got lost in the mail.
Yeah, I got lost in the mail with my art center. Go ahead.
Yes.
Exactly.
Mine too, I did get one. Well, usually I bring up construction and improvement numbers, which it's around 1.5 million today, so I want to give that shout out. But I also want to give a shout out to Fire Chief, or I don't know if he's Fire and Rescue Chief or what his official title is, but it's Tom Everett. To his team, it was brought to my attention this weekend by two parties unrelated to each other, what a fantastic, efficient, caring job that two different calls did. One was one of my neighbors fell down, couldn't get up, and a stranger found him laying out there. He was walking his dog, came to another neighbor's house, knocked on the door. They called 911. The gentleman was elderly, had some dementia problems, and they were so gentle and so kind, she said. And she said to me, if I ever have to have them called for me, I hope I get that same team. She said that, he was just very disoriented. Turned out he had a broken hip. Another very good friend of mine's mother passed away at home, and they came. And they were so caring, so gentle, so respectful. And I just want to give a shout out to those crews at Sioux City Fire and Rescue for being so respectful and for taking care of our community like you do. That's just so appreciated. And it's great to get that kind of feedback. Two unrelated calls in one weekend. I got to hear it, so excellent. And I did send Chief a email letting him know that and to share it, and gave those addresses so he could go to those squads and let them know. Thanks so much.
We, in our family, had the good fortune of having to use them twice in 10 days, and they do a great job. I'd rather we didn't again for a long time, but.
So,
You have anything, or are you just getting all ready for tomorrow that you don't have?
Oh, we should be bringing that
no,
up.
I was trying to look up actually what it was, but someone had, oh, here we go. So they were asking about the use of UTVs and ATVs, those type of things on roadways. Where did we end up on that, or what is the status of that? There's specific roads they can and others they can't?
Can't inside city limits. They can on county roads that are state designated, like Lakeport Road and that.
They can on what? They can on Lakeport?
Not on our Lakeport, on the old Lakeport.
Oh, I got you, the old one outside of town, outside of.
It's fairly limited as to where those areas are.
Yeah, they were asking about one that's in the city, so I'll get back to them. Yep, that's all I have, Mayor. Thank you.
Okay, have fun tomorrow.
Thank you.
Yeah, have a safe trip.
Where are you going tomorrow, Alex? Could you share that, or is that private?
No, it's fine. I haven't really shared anything that much publicly, but tomorrow I leave for Washington, D.C. It's actually going to be an Americans with Disabilities, or American Disability Act, ADA celebration, the anniversary of that, as well as Disability Awareness Month. And so I was, my presence was requested by the president, and so I'm going out to the White House to participate in that celebration. So I'm looking forward to that. So hoping for safe travels, but yeah, I missed a couple of events the last week because I didn't really want to increase my risk of exposure very much. So I stayed home, but
Okay.
yeah, I'm excited. We'll see how it goes.
We're excited for you.
Thank you.
Mr. Moore.
Mayor, thank you for my 3 minutes. Mr. Padmore, what's the priority budget hearing we're having on Friday from 8 till 10? Is that still on?
Yes.
What are we doing?
It is just to get staff and the council focused in the right direction as we start to prepare the budget for presentation in January. Over the past 6 or 8 months, we've had a lot of discussions with different council members about what they would like to see in the budget and how they'd like to see the budget. We just want to make sure everybody is organized, and so that we can put together a budget that meets the goals of the council. We have it scheduled from 8 to 10, but I imagine it maybe will take an hour.
Perfect. Seriously, I do, but.
Yep.
But that won't change our presentation.
Fishing, but I guess I won't be, so go ahead.
You could leave at 9. Fishing.
Yeah, we could be done by 9. No, well, it won't change.
Our
Won't change
presentation.
anything. This is just, we wanted to get out in front so that we didn't present a budget that was missing something
Kind of a
or,
little pre-discussion.
yeah, to kind of set the framework.
Suppose you get my hopes up on something you present Friday, though, that I want to push through.
We're not presenting proposals on Friday, we're meeting as a group so that we all understand.
You can try to push something through and get, make sure it becomes a priority. That's what this is about, I guess.
Yes.
You got an idea?
Oh, lots of ideas this time around. But I don't think we have much money, do we?
My lips are sealed. If there's any new funds, I'm not telling you about it, 'cause I saw how you spent it the last time.
Very
So that's
wise.
what it's about. We anticipate about an hour.
Okay, all right, thank you for
Yeah.
that. And that's, that's all I have.
I'll be the next couple days at least at the League of Cities, so
City?
Conference or what?
Waterloo.
Waterloo. I'm glad you're representing us. Thank you for doing that.
Glad to do it for you, Dan. I move we,
I'll second.
I'll see Steve from Wall Lake.
Scott?
Tell him hi. Aye.
Waters?
Aye.
Moore?
Aye.
O'Kane?
Aye.
Shaner?
Aye.